I intended to do a video where I project film and shoot it with the HCX1000 using different settings and see what scans the best. But in the process, I lost a belt on the projector here and it chewed up some of the film, which gave me another idea. How can I do something about the chewed up film? So I'm going to do that coming up on Thrifty AV. I set my HCX1000 right next to the projector and recorded at different settings, trying different things out. On my first pass, I was recording at 60 FPS with a shutter speed of 1/60th of a second and got pretty good results. I then tried different shutter speeds without film running through the projector. Here's the audio. This is 1/750th of a second. This is 1/500th of a second. This is 1/350th of a second. This is 1/250th of a second. This is 1/180th of a second. This is 1/120th of a second. This is 1/100th of a second. This is 1/60th of a second, which is where I recorded the previous shots. This is 1/30th of a second, which there's really little point in me recording at 60 frames per second when my shutter's set at 1/30th of a second. This is 1/15th of a second and the neutral density filter just kicked in. The neutral density filter is set to 1/4. This is of course slower than the speed of my projector. On the next pass I was trying a different shutter speed. Alright, here we go. Let's see what happens. Oh, that doesn't sound good. That's not good. When I loaded the film, it did not go through the film path correctly. It jammed up in the projector, bent up the film, and broke in 2 spots, throwing a belt on the projector in the process. Here's one of the hazards of working with film. It obviously split right there. And there's even more stuck in here that I'm about to try to grab and get out of the projector. Yeah, here it is. This was also in the projector, and again, I'm going to try to salvage these frames using my Wolverine scanner as best I can. Alright, this is a new Super 8 splicing tape. I'm going to go ahead and film myself splicing this thing together, might as well. In order to preserve as much of this lost footage as possible, I'm going to splice it together with mangled footage and all and run it through the scanner. It would probably need to be spliced again later to take out spots like this where the film is bent, but I just want to preserve as many frames of this family footage as I can. So I'm just gonna use the splicing block and splice it together, mangled frames and all, with splicing tape, run it through the scanner, and then take it from there. Comes apart kind of like a Band-Aid. Now normally you're supposed to cut it at a good spot. I'm not going to do it in this case. I'm going to take the footage, pop it in these holes, take this footage that matches it on this side, pop it in these holes, and then that is the frame where it got chopped, where it got messed up. I'm going to take my splicing tape and match it up on those same holes. Kind of do it on one side, match up the holes on one side. Now this longer part here, I'm going to pull on. While I'm pulling on this longer part, I'm pressing the other part down. And now that is spliced down. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to hold that down. Pull on the longer part while I'm pressing the other part down. And now that is spliced on one side. Now what I'm going to do is push it down as good as I can so that the light projects through it well. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side in the same spot. And that definitely has an issue at that sprocket right there. I'm going to pull this other side through while I'm pushing down on the tape. And that went through pretty good. I'm going to do the same thing up to the other side. Okay, that is now spliced where it tore. So it's not going to look as good on those frames, but it should still scan. It broke in 2 places, so I had to do 2 splices. Now, I'm going to repeat, this is not how you should do this for a projector. I'm running this through a scanner, and scanners are a little more forgiving of mangled up film than projectors are. So we'll see how it does through the scanner after I do this patch job. Now the parts I pull on are right there, so I need that facing this way. I need to make sure the sprocket holes are all in the right spot. Okay, now I'm going to pull on this while I'm pushing down. And now the tape is in the right spot. And I'm going to push the tape down as good as I can against that film. Both sides of the broken film need to be spliced down with tape. This time I don't have to push as hard because it's already secured on the other side. Because of all the handling, I clean the film with rubbing alcohol and a touch of mineral oil. I then dried the film on a second pass. Now this monitor is going to show what the Wolverine is scanning. Now keep in mind I spliced this thing where it tore. I did not chop out the mangled part of the film. So I'm going to spot that while it's scanning and see if the Wolverine jams up in those spots where it's mangled and where I spliced it. So we get out of the menu and I'm going to hit enter and then enter again. I'm going to watch for the mangled part of the tape, and I see it coming up here. I see the splice. I'm going to see if this thing can handle where it's been spliced. And you can kind of see where it got chewed up here. There's the splice, and we're past this first splice. Now we're going to be approaching the second splice soon. This part of the film got a little bit extra mangled up. We are approaching the second splice. And it jammed up. So I'm going to just nudge it along, and there was a second splice. So we've gotten through both splices on the scanner on a film reel that I would not dare put into a movie projector. Now if I ever want to run this film reel through a movie projector, I'm going to need to cut out all that bent up, mangled up film and do a clean splice from clean film to clean film. Until then, I'm going to write a note on this to not run this piece of film through a projector. I'm going to close with a couple of scenes from this film, including the mangled up scene. I appreciate you viewing. Thank you to my patrons for supporting this channel, and remember, stay thrifty, everyone.